Hello, who is that?
Good morning,
Hey,
Fernando.
what's going on, Michael? Hey, Jay.
Hey,
How is
well,
everyone?
we're just making
Beautiful.
executive decisions, making the world spin, and you know, helping God turn the crank that turns the earth.
Well, that sounds beautiful, Michael. Thank you. That sounds like a wonderful place to be on this beautiful day. It is Why Wednesday. It took me a second to click what day it was. Everything is happening. It's here. It is the most exciting, the most energy, so much, just so much presence. And I will always want to make this about all of you. So how are we feeling today on Why Wednesday? What's happening? How are we anchoring? What are we creating? And how's the excitement of what's about to happen? The largest ecosystem merger experience ever in the history of Everness. And that's what I'm present to on Why, to help people, have more money and less time with more magic being a more experiential feeling, to life. So today on Why Wednesday, want to check in. Sean, are you here with us? All right, so let's take a share. I know Jared and the team are all jumping on. So today on this Why Wednesday, who would like to share what they're present to, what they're excited to, what they're doing to define their goals and make them happen? So who would like to share today on this Why Wednesday?
I
Fernando.
want to share. This is Veron.
Hi, yeah, Maran, go for it.
Okay, so I'm like super excited because today I'm gonna be taking the Greyhound bus and head to New Jersey. So my journey starts early.
Where are you coming from?
That is incredible.
South Carolina.
Oh, that's right, South Carolina. Sure.
Yeah, thank you. That is wow. Thank you for that. Jumping on.
I just got
making your
home
way
from
here.
work, but I mean, like, oh my God, this is just it for me right now.
I love that. Thank you so much. And how's what are you bringing with you on this beautiful experience?
A lot of hope and just openness to share whenever I can, in whatever way I can. I'm just open to whatever it is that I'm able to contribute and to receive. And I mean, guys, just thank you, a million thank you for just opening this up to us, because I know it's life-changing just from whatever I have been able to learn so far. I know definitely it's not going to be business as usual.
That's awesome.
This is Kirk Adams. What is your name, ma'am? I don't
Maran.
know you. I don't think. Maran. Well, I
Maran.
very much look forward to meeting. Okay, I very much look forward to meeting you.
Who am I speaking with now?
It's Kirk Adams from American Foundation for the
Okay.
Blind.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I responded back, so.
Beautiful. Hey,
Okay, guys, thank you so much. I'll see you all in a couple of days, okay?
beautiful.
Absolutely.
Hold on one second, because I'm getting on a call.
Hey, Sean, are you here with us?
Yep, I just jumped in 10 seconds ago.
Beautiful.
Hey, and so happy Why Wednesday to all, and we are 48 hours out. So this is what it looks like, and I am certainly not confused. By the way, which I'm not a fan of, let's say, merchandise, clothing, typically for events and things like, well, I guess there's nothing like this, but people go to events. We have some very cool stuff coming related to Unblinded, which will include many of the awesome sayings, the meter of the scale of mastery, I should say. So it's going to be some really cool stuff. I was excited about that as I was going through some of that over the last 48 hours as well. So I had to thank everybody who is making a massive push. I was acknowledging a number of different people. I want to acknowledge Mona, who all of a sudden was putting double-digit people on the board yesterday. So Mona, fantastic job out there, especially since a number of those people were coming from what arguably could be one of the great alignment ecosystem mergers down the block, Salesforce, with what we're doing here, because every single client of Salesforce would be somebody that would be belong where we are because they're salespeople. So fantastic and awesome job. John Kelly, who is, we have fun referring to John, and John refers to himself as Alfred, not infrequently in his role of support in my life and co-creation. And John was putting double-digit people on the board yesterday, wrapping that up. So just awesomeness going on. And with that said, you know, questions, thoughts, comments from anybody about what's happening. So I'm going to drop in with a little bit of content, but I want to just get process procedure-wise. Maybe we usually end and wrap with this, but maybe Jared, let's go there for a moment with anything that you want to share about what's happening, and then I'm going to drop in with a little bit of discussion about why and seeding how things are going to go on Friday and how to max the value of what's happening. And also talk about if there's some crazy and insane reason why somebody can't come, what you could be doing to continue to maximize the value of the huddles and what you're up to. So with that said, Jared, you out there, brother?
I'm here. Hello, hello.
Hello,
We had a serious day yesterday on the blinded movement. So I'll just speak for myself, and then I'll speak for everybody else. So I had 17 hours of phone calls. I ended my day at 11:57, just going back and forth with Rob Gill, and that's a good way to end the day. So Rob, if you're there, I said goodnight to you, and I'll now say good morning a few hours later. But it's not just me; it's the entire nerve center is nonstop.
I'm here, brother.
Calling. Hello, brother. So we had people calling the unblinded phone number, which is totally cool. I think 1 in the morning was the last call that Krista answered. We had people that there was a challenge inside the nerve center to see who could answer the phone the fastest, because it rings many people. And it was like a competition, and Krista's pretty competitive. I think Krista may have won for the day on answering the most calls. We had tickets being sold and agreement formation happening at the highest level we've experienced. And it doesn't surprise me, it doesn't confuse me, because we're close, and now there's a lot of people that are like, what's going on here? I have to make sure that I'm there. And there's a lot of you that either purchased guest tickets in the past or purchased them yesterday and then delivered. So congratulations, you just transformed someone's life, you transformed your own life, and you're transforming the movement. So housekeeping stuff. Registration will only happen on Friday. So an email will go out shortly from Sean with all these details as well. But registration will happen starting at 7 a.m. on Friday, and there'll be 2 hours of registration. So my recommendation is to get there by 7 a.m. Because there's 1,500 plus people that are going to be registering in one shot. It's also a great opportunity to come and meet our vendors who have been hand selected, heavily curated, and they are awesome, like absolutely awesome. Just to give some examples of who they are. Obviously, AFB and FAR will have a table. Osteo Strong will be present. That's amazing. Nunbelievables is coming, so you can get yourself some cookies with a cause. Epic, Synergy Medical Group. Scott Tennant, I don't know if you're on, man, but I still can get Scott yesterday, and it was just magical. Calgi will have some representation there, obviously. We have an esports team that's coming, so that's really cool. We have this whole group of visually impaired authors. They're going to be doing book signings throughout the 3 days. We have Joe Camberado and National, so small business financing, amazing. And then a company called Low Vision Industries. So we like heavily curated this group, and we are pumped. So get there early. You can meet the sponsors. These are just wonderful, heart-centered entrepreneurs. Concession stands will be open throughout the entire experience. So there is food on site, and pretty much every single dietary need is present there. I'm not 100% certain about 100% kosher. That was the one that was a little bit of an unknown. So if you do need to have kosher food, I would recommend bringing your own, just so that you're not in a position that makes you uncomfortable. But everything else, vegan, not vegan, but vegetarian, gluten-free, etc., is present at the venue. There's drinks at the venue. Oh, we have another sponsor, I just realized, add to the list, called Drink Focus. So Drink Focus is a caffeinated seltzer, and they donated like 5,000 cans, so you guys can get yourself some nice drinks during the experience. But the key here is arrive at 7 a.m. on Friday morning. You're gonna get registered quickly. You'll get your beautiful manual. You'll get your name badge. You can meet the sponsors and the vendors. and just get yourself in present time consciousness, because this will be the most magical 3 days of your life.
Hey, awesome, Jared. Also, non-believable cookies. Is that right or wrong?
Non-believable cookies. Yes. Yeah.
So want to make sure that, Jared, you do me a favor and make sure I do not eat any non-believable cookies until Sunday night, and at which time I'm going to eat like 12 non-believable cookies, but I'm having no non-believable cookies until we are done. So
there's a special announcement about non-believable cookies. So if you do eat 12, there's something really special that's going to happen, which we'll talk about at the Let's Leave Some Mystery. So you'll hear about what Unbelievables is doing for the first time in the history of Unbelievables at Unblinded Sales Mastery Immersion. So we'll leave that as a surprise for all of you, because it's just that good. But yes, you can celebrate with your cookie, Sean, for sure.
Awesome. I appreciate that. That will be a very fun celebratory moment. So, hey, for everybody, again, thank you. It's Why Wednesday, and want to break it down a little bit, because repetition, as Tony Robbins says, is the mother of skill. And I think actually Jim Rohn sees that for Tony. This event is about, so we drill into it, more money in less time with more magic. Words easily said. But I'll issue some initial thoughts and challenges of disruption. Number one, how many ecosystems are you merged with? Right now, how many ecosystems are you merged with? An ecosystem is any grouping of people that has some commonality and a leader, like Unblinded is an ecosystem. Epic is an ecosystem. Salesforce is an ecosystem. New York City is an ecosystem. The United States is an ecosystem. The Earth is an ecosystem. The New York Mets is an ecosystem. The Meadowlands Chamber of Commerce is an ecosystem. The AFB is an ecosystem. Kirk Adams is an ecosystem. So an ecosystem, again, because all the people that would know Kirk Adams, where Kirk Adams would have any degree of influence or leadership over those folks. For example, his household is an ecosystem, right? So for you, how many ecosystems are you merged with? Question. And then second, how relevant are those ecosystems that you're merged with to your business, how you make your living? Third, how frictionless is the ecosystem merger? Frictionlessness is defined as your ability to promote. So for example, the Earth is an ecosystem, but right now for all of us, there would be high friction to present who and what we are to the Earth. You'd have to pay like insane, massive advertising dollar. Like Google doesn't even have access to the Earth. It's not available in China. So frictionlessness means how available is it so you can present who you are, what you do. You know, my frictionlessness with the unblinded community is complete. You know, I have the platform. I can say what I want on these huddles. So I have frictionlessness to present on the Facebook page here, complete access to do whatever it is that I want to do. So that would be complete frictionlessness. Somebody else on the call doesn't have yet complete frictionlessness, just demonstrating the concepts of what we're talking about. So how frictionless is your access in the highest quality spaces for you to present who you are, what you do, add massive value to those communities? You know, what is that for you? And that is the beginning of a benchmark that leads to the next question, which is how many monthly sales meetings are you having? For you, how many monthly sales meetings are you having with clients that could potentially say yes or no to your services, like right now? And then how many sales are you making per month? That is what this weekend is all about. How we are learning to make those decisions, think that way, and take massive action, because that's where the conversations began with Rob Gill. And Rob Gill was at 8 of those per month. And Rob, as many of you have consistently heard, but is at north of 150 per month right now. And the challenge is when we hear words, it doesn't necessarily get into our nervous system as like conditioned reality. But the difference of where Rob went from 8 to 175, that's 22. What's happening? And the differential in actual sales for each of us, when we start increasing 22x our number of sales meetings, is obviously extraordinary. And that is what we're here to do this weekend. What we're not here to do, simply is because I've heard beautiful souls. Like, I just want to give, and I want to make beautiful, incredible, wonderful things happen for people. And I was having a conversation with Rebecca Heat and Siri Lindley, and we were all, praying for Siri, and her health and her treatment, is ongoing for her acute leukemia. And those fine ladies are like, I just want to give, and I want to help, and what can we do? And the conversation I have so often with so many people in the unblinded community is the opposite of what it is frequently in the world, which is about giving and having no agreement formation around what might happen for you. And this weekend is about creating those ecosystem mergers that are frictionless, that increase your number of sales meetings and your sales, and our mastery, increasing our level of mastery wherever we are on that on our level of mastery of going from hello to yes to people. Because if all you're doing here is giving, contributing with no structural framework for how you receive value back, you're eventually going to have to stop giving, because you have to be able to receive and grow and expand. And that's what this is all about. This is not about, hey, like, just keep giving, keep giving, keep giving. It's all going to work out. There's beautiful souls across the world that do that forever, and it doesn't just naturally work out. The framework is like, how do we give, and how does that end up coming back and benefiting us? So there's an ecosystem, there's a symbiotic relationship of give and receive and grow and expand. And it may not be precisely, tit for tat, because that's transactional. It's not bad, but it is absolutely more than that, where there's this elevation and expansion through everything that's happening. So you're seen, as we're going to hear and talk about with Jay Abraham this weekend, as your unique identity becomes preeminent. You have spaces where you are preeminent. You are the voice. You are the microphone. You are what's happening. And you're expanding and growing and benefiting and making unbelievably phenomenal things happen in the lives of people who are hearing from you and having the value that you're bringing added to their life and their world. Dan Geltrude, who we're going to hear from this weekend, is on Fox News all the time, is about to be increasing news cycles. Dan is so credible, so talented, so brilliant, so phenomenal. And the question for Dan is, and so he's certainly got a beautiful and successful business, his preeminence has outpaced, his unique identity preeminence has outpaced his sales meetings, meaning he has so much more value, relationship capital, in his preeminent unique identity than he's actually receiving. Like, what does he do about that? And we have answers. And Jay Abraham and I are about to rock Dan Geltrude's world in a beautiful intervention across the weekend. Like, that's going to happen. So we're going to have amazing dynamics that are occurring for each and every person to learn from. And if you have a question that you think is a brilliant, not brilliant, but a powerful, in service of the room question that you'd like to ask and have an intervention, because Jay and I are going to do some combined intervention work after Jay prevents for a little while, in the room on a self-mastery, process mastery, influence mastery level, please submit that question. And you could post it just on the Unblinded page. Start posting questions that you would have that are going to create the breakthroughs for you. And let's begin posting those questions today. Say, here's where I am, here's what's happening, and here's my question. And we're going to hand select a number of questions to do interventions with. But the richer and the deeper the question, the more likely it is that it's going to be selected. So let's start curating those questions today about you, your business, and what you're up to for sure.
So just to create process around this, let's just create process around this quickly. We're going to post a survey form in the movement, and you can submit the survey form. So it's a little more organized. So that's where we'll do it, Sean.
So yes, thank you, Jared. Jared is there to keep a leash on me and to keep me organized, structured. And he's like, we didn't talk about this. So thank you. Thank you, Jared. Yes. So thank you. That is awesome. I appreciate that. So do what he said. So I'll have the ideas, and Jared will be there for it's appropriate tightening and execution. So I appreciate that. And the outcome for this weekend is that you leave with your process mastery map of how you're going to increase your frictionless ecosystem mergers, your number of sales meetings, and actual sales. So people are like, what are we going to get like at the end of this thing? Yeah, you're going to get like something you don't get anywhere. You're going to get that. Because I'm hallucinating that there's an extraordinary gap for each and every one of us. For Rob Gill included, Rob has been here for 2 years working like a maniac on this stuff, let alone the Calgary law people. We're going to blow, you want to talk about like disruption and intervention? We're going to blow people's minds with some of the things that happen for some of these people like Michael Smikin, who yesterday, and you're going to watch this video. You want to watch one of America's best attorneys up there making things happen in front of the New Jersey Supreme Court. You want to watch the formula in action. The formula in action with 6 other attorneys arguing, the justices arguing, and you make your own conclusion of who was the most persuasive person, influential person in that room, including the justices on the New Jersey Supreme Court. You make your own conclusion of who that was, watching Michael Smikin argue an issue that has an impact over hundreds of millions of dollars in the state of New Jersey, which is what is the workers' compensation statute of limitations, whether it's 2 or 6 years, and you decide how the formula works in action with allegedly the best attorneys in the state of New Jersey arguing appellate issues, and watch Michael Smikin on that video if you want to study the formula. Ask yourself what energies you're seeing. Ask yourself what elements are present. Ask yourself how Michael is creating disruption and influencing and leveraging who the most persuasive justices on the New Jersey Supreme Court are. And that's Michael Smikin in action. By the way, by most people's standards, a relatively new attorney, because Michael Smikin's only been out of law school for about 11 years. And in the legal world, which is based on a ridiculous concept of like years put in, which is just silly, because when I was 2 years out, I was crushing people because of the formula. Watch Michael Smikin in action to see what's possible on that video. And I couldn't be more proud of him. And here's what's happening. Calgary law had an issue that is, in terms of direct fee structures for Calgary law, tens of millions of dollars were at issue for us yesterday when Michael was arguing. Tens of millions. I had no idea that was happening. Like, that's business ownership. I had no idea it was happening. Michael Smikin was running that along with Tom LaGreca and others without my knowledge and understanding. Across the weekend, and here's the drop the mic point. If that wasn't, here is. Michael dropped what he was doing over the weekend and helped edit the book that we're going to be getting this weekend, the 75-page guide and manual for Unblinded for this immersion. Michael was writing, editing, and going like crazy when he had a New Jersey Supreme Court argument coming up that he had blocked the entire weekend off to prepare for, and he dropped in and was supporting us. So the lessons are, number one, watch what happens when you've been in the formula for a decade, as Michael has, in stepping forward with the most brilliant legal minds, and because you're going to recognize that they don't have a formula to create influence, and you're going to see what jumps out off the page and who is dictating and controlling the pacing, the flow, the information, the wisdom, the content in that room. And that's going to be posted today. Check it out, share it, and use it as an example. And by the way, you go, oh, well, doesn't Michael benefit and Calgary law benefit if we use that as an example? Of course they do. Of course that's why I'm saying it also, but I'm in integrity because it is a demonstration at the highest level of the formula. And so when I found out about that, I'm like, oh, ecosystem merger, phenomenal. Preeminent example of why Michael Smikin is who I am in service of humans learning the formula. Boom, drop the mic, ecosystem merger moment, here we go. And that's how we're going to condition everybody to think. Not nonsense, not BS, not promoting that which is not that. We're not promoting that which is not that, saying Michael was phenomenal, incredible, watch what's happening. No, it's every bit of that, and the lessons for the formula are everywhere because he studied the formula. And then ask yourself the question, what could Michael do even more masterfully? Because of course he could. And I'll be breaking that down after January 10, 11, and 12, breaking down what Michael did phenomenally, and then what Michael could have done even more phenomenally. If he was in 9.999, how could he have added another 9 to 9.9999? So that's what's present. That's what's happening. There'll be the survey form. We'll be posting that video of Michael Smikin in front of the NJ Supreme Court on a multiple 9-figure issue affecting people. Ask yourself where the elements were present for him and not for others, the steps and the energies. It's a great learning tool, and I'm so proud of Michael for his effort and so grateful for Unblinded that he made massive contributions. By the way, Michael, you're out there? I'm not sure if Michael's on this morning. He may be in court, going once, going twice, going 3 times. Okay, so with that said, Adam Gugino, Adam, brother, what is present for you on this unblinded Why Wednesday as we're fueling our tank with our driving why and how that relates to our legacy? Like, what's up for you and why are you doing all this? Like, what's your why, Adam, and how does that relate to your ultimate legacy?
So, thank you for that.
Small question. It's like, what'd you have for breakfast?
Yeah.
And what does your life and after death stand for? You know, so just a simple, quick question.
I mean, I'm going to tell you this. It's the why is exactly what happened yesterday. We hired somebody really, their first day on the job, their first day making phone calls was yesterday. His name was Daryl. A little rough around the edges, really nervous, and studied the formula all day yesterday, watched videos, was listening to phone calls, in the energy in the room. And yesterday, he was tasked to make calls to people on the Christmas list to make sure that everybody on that list had one more opportunity to get to the event. And as he's making those phone calls, he hops off. He says, "Oh, I got somebody who thinks they might be able to go, but they are on a conference call. Let me call them back. They want us to call them back." Sure enough, I look on the list. I say, "Who is it?" And it was Joseph McClendon. And I said, "Man, if he takes this call, you've already earned your salary for the rest of the year." So I call. So an hour later, I called. Well, actually, I call him right back, and he said, "I'm still on the call." Joseph didn't really know who it was, or he was a little, startled by the call 5 minutes later. But we call him back an hour later, and I talk to him. I invite him to the dinner. Joseph couldn't make it. He's got a couple of speaking engagements this weekend. And but then I talked to him about being at his event, Sean, when I was there. And I told Joseph, the most fascinating part of being at his event was his son in the audience. And Joseph said, "Oh, well, guess what? My son's actually in the car listening to this on speaker." And he was so excited to hear that. Yeah, it was great. And then, he couldn't make it, but we did talk about what we're doing after the event, the outsourcing of sales and everything else. And Joseph was so excited. He said to me, "Listen, Adam, you know how I manifest things in my life?" And I said, "Yeah, of course. I've been following you." He goes, "Well, I believe that I manifested this phone call by you and by Daryl today." So to answer your question, that's what it's all about for me. It's all about being in these moments with it. I can't wait. I don't know if Daryl's on this call, but I can't wait to get to the office to tell him what he has done and what he has accomplished. And then that's it, man. That's what it's all about for me, the short of it. Yeah. But I can't wait to continue to spread that in the rest of the world and what we're doing. So,
yeah. And you know what it is, Adam? And thank you, brother, and congratulations to Daryl. Everybody
all
wants
in service
more
of the formula, yes.
All in service, and everybody wants more money in less time with more magic. Something on that continuum, right? A primary focus on one of those. Some it's more money is the primary focus. Some it's in less time, and some it's with more magic. But everybody wants something on that continuum. Everybody. There's virtually nobody that is 1,000% satisfied in each of those categories, no matter how famous, no matter how successful, no matter what's going on, because growth is an essential element and part of the human condition. And we think about our why and why Wednesday, we realize that we want to be connected. Tony Robbins talks about the 6 human needs. and does, you know, such a beautiful job of it. Our one word for that is magic, right? All the things that we want. And, you know, he files them and categorizes them that way in, you know, a beautiful way. But we do all want growth. You know, we all want that connection. You know, I add in some slightly different words, and I think we all want fun. I think we all want excitement. You know, those are energetic and emotional states that we want to experience on a regular basis. And so part of all this too is fun. And when like Adam says that, like I have like an energetic like movement inside of me, like smiling, thinking about Joseph in that car with his son, and looking at life is like, it's like ridiculous. Like we create these frames of like who people are and what they are. And, you know, we caricaturize people into these black and white elements of what they are. Like I guarantee you, Tony Robbins wants more sales help. And what a beautiful thing it's going to be to merge ecosystems there eventually. I believe we will. I'm confident. We're already merged. You know, I'm already on stage there at some level, but I think there'll be continued acceleration there. What does it look like eventually when some, you know, Tim Ferriss, you know, who's out there at the 4-hour work week and do what he's doing, he's got no program that in any way, shape, or form delivers what people really want. He doesn't. They may think they do. They don't. And what does it look like when the formula becomes the backbone of what's happening there? What does it look like when the ICF, the International Coaching Federation, is realizing that coaches have such a massive challenge selling? And so many beautiful souls that go out and get their coaching certification have no capacity to actually build a coaching business and serve people with the beautiful gift of coaching because they can't communicate about it. But even the coaches themselves are missing content. So they can coach people on their dreams, and it's wonderful, but they're missing a backbone content for people to get what they really want, which is more money and less time with more magic, because I'm a certified coach, and coaching presupposes that people have the answers, and they don't, because they don't have a formula. And that was one of the intersections beautifully of Jared and I, because he believed that before we met, and he knew the coaching certification world. He's like, oh my God, like I get it. Like I've been like frustrated and concerned about this, and that's why I went into the space of marketing, because people didn't know how to market, had no capacity to build it and put it together. And now like you're talking with the other piece, sales, like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. That's what we're doing in service of people. And that's why that phone call was so beautiful to the amazing, incredible, gifted, talented, beautiful heart and soul Joseph McClendon, because he wants more growth. We all do. It's magical. It's fun. It's exciting. It's why people climb Mount Everest. It's why people surf giant waves. It's why people try to run a mile who haven't yet. It's why blind people take on challenges that, like a beautiful soul who we're going to introduce and talk more about over the weekend, who rode his bicycle across the country, an amazing attorney for Google, and is making a movie about successful blind people. We all want that growth. We all want connection. We all want to do things that make us feel significant, unique, and like we're contributing. And there's space for all of us to do that. Like you may be getting beautiful connection from these phone calls and learning about growth, but what is it that you're going to do that's going to make you feel significant, preeminent, and making things happen? And not shallow, false significance of like, hey, look at me. It's like going out and making beautiful things happen, touching, impacting lives. Like Daryl had a moment of significance yesterday. Daryl called Joseph McClendon. He connected. He opened the pathway for Adam to have a phone call. That's just an amazing moment. What moment is going to happen today that you're going to just reach out and feel proud because you're extending yourself and making something happen and touching people and creating people? Co-creating with people. What is that going to look like and be? So with that said, anybody want to share any wins, any questions, any thoughts, any comments? Because I really want to challenge this group. And starting, and I know we've been so focused on the immersion for the weekend, but starting on Monday, the root of this phone call must be wins. Challenging people, inspiring people, competing in love and empathy with people like we did playing for Coach Slazak at Emerson High School as freshmen, where we were hitting hard and like who was going to win, like the one-on-ones, who was going to score the touchdown, who's going to stop somebody from scoring a touchdown in one-on-one tackling drills. Like we want to go compete on these phone calls in love, in empathy, in integrity, and growing and challenging each other. So it's not just like the safe space of just like warmth, which it is. It's also competitive space of who's making things happen. What are you making happen? Like that's what Monday sounds like. Who's winning? Who wants to share in their heart as an example possibility to inspire not put other people down, to inspire and lift people up by how they outwork, outcreate, outproduce everybody else. Like, that's what the space of these calls looks a lot more like come Monday. So for today, anybody have any wins they want to share, questions they want to ask?
Hey, Sean, we got
Craig.
Oh, Brad hit the buzzer. Jeopardy has their greatest ever competition going on. Like, night 2 is tonight.
I know I've shared a
in
lot
honor,
lately, but I have to
No,
share
Brad.
this.
No. Let's hear it, Brad. I love it. You're throwing snowballs with the sun, and
So
the
I got
snowballs are winning.
There's a line, and this is the power of the microphone. There's a line that gave me a cell phone, got me connected to Grant Cardone's #1 guy, and I called him, and it was obviously like he was the shit. They have 35,000 people at their events. I get 25 phone calls like this a day. What do you want? Get to the point, blah, 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 blah. And it was just emotional rapport building and service. And like, how can I help this guy? And I'm not kidding you. We talked for over 30 minutes. It was a 32-minute long phone call. And at the end of the phone call, he was conveying his heroic, unique identity about how he sold Cutco knives and then became Grant Cardone's #1 guy. And he said, there's no way in hell Grant's going to come to Sean, but if Sean wants to come to Miami, we have an open door policy. If you get your ass down here, we could probably make it happen. And it was only because of the formula, emotional rapport building, and the belief. And really quickly, I got to say, I don't know how on God's green earth Jared and Adam and the Nuke team are doing what they're doing every single day. I just cannot fathom it. Like, most talented salespeople in the world are the most demanding people in the world, and I'm considering myself a decent salesperson. I'm extremely demanding up until like 2 o'clock in the morning. And Jared, I don't know how he does it. I do not know how Adam does it. I don't know how these nerve center guys are keeping up with this pace. It's a freaking miracle and a level of productivity I've never seen in my life.
Brad,
but it's
all,
happening. And the Tony Robbins is guaranteed in the next 2 weeks.
No.
But
listen,
that was it.
I couldn't be more grateful for you and the example of possibility you are making these big home run moves like you are, right? Absolutely astonishing. And in terms of Jared, Adam, Fernando, Chaz, Ben, Krista, Daryl, Roy, Tiffany, Nicole, Mona, John, Michael Smikin, Tom LaGreca, Tom Filatico, Hala, Kelly Hanna, Darcy, and Ben Fox, and Mickey Jeffers, and Kirk Adams, and 100 names now. Rob Gill. Oh my God, Rob Gill. Like, let's recalibrate that list. Rob Gill, brother, the amazing and insane epic team, America's Accountant, Dan Geltrude. Just, and please, if any name I didn't say, like, say it, Jared, when I kick it to you at the end. I cannot share my overwhelming and insane gratitude. And it wasn't until Adam and Jared came into this equation and they were putting the process mastery components and, of course, bringing insane self-mastery, influence mastery. But I've been saying for so long, like, I need to duplicate myself. My God, like, if I could only duplicate myself, and that may sound like an ego-driven statement. It wasn't. It was like just the scaling and just truth be told, like, out there, my favorite activity in the world is not the managing of people directly. Like, that is not my favorite activity. I am the chief visionary officer at Unblinded for a reason. I love the ideas. Michael Smikin created the structural framework, executed on the structural framework that we envisioned together and put it together and made it happen. That's why those trials happened. That's why the success happened. That's why we have residual income-based, massive, beautiful things at Calgary Law that were my vision to create. And quite frankly, I did create, maintain, and build, on my own a long, long time ago. But I realized that my highest and best use was a visionary. It was merging ecosystems, making those things happen. Jared and Adam fell out of the sky as like gifts from God. And that's just a lie, actually. They didn't fall out of the sky. They came because of the formula. Jared came because of the relationship I had with Dr. Burr, his stepfather, and his beautiful and incredible mom, Jody. And Jody was like conveying my unique identity to Jared for a long time. So was Dr. Berg. And then his to me, which I had heard for a long period of time. And finally, ecosystem merger meeting happened. Our unique identities were being conveyed. We both had to help each other see what we didn't see about each other and the limiting beliefs we had about the ability to work together and do things. And it was totally insane. And then Adam comes because of the formula also, in contribution, I thought at the moment, to Ben Fox bringing a business mastery, but it wasn't contribution. Ben was out there conveying my unique identity like a maniac, and he was building a rapport amazingly in the formula himself, building his own unique identity with Adam with him. And that leads to an ecosystem merger meeting. And the unique identities flying back and forth between us. And then the insane move because of the power of Adam's unique identity that I saw, right, and the power of mine that he saw, he ends up leaving a company he took from $300 to $700 million to come here. And it's all the formula, but it doesn't change the fact that I, in my heart and soul, believe that these are just gifts from God, like in the formula. And it's unbelievable, Lord Brad. You couldn't be more correct, and it's totally insane. And so thank you, and let's keep it going. And I will go meet on behalf of this unblinded community, Grant Cardone, and I will tell him, right, because Rob will be smiling left now because we said tell him. I will show him the video I put out about kicking his A and our content, and I will challenge him face-to-face in love, in empathy, in fun, in competition like we did with Coach Slazak, to a live on-screen tackle-in drill, which will be called an influence off of me and him, and I will see if he's ready. And I will tell him if he's not, then he needs to be learning this, and we need to become the content for his platform, putting people in the room. He needs to license our content. I will have that conversation with Grant Cardone congruently, face-to-face, and if not, I will challenge him every day across the globe to an influence off until he says yes. So that'll be happening after the event. And Brad, thank you for that. But in total love and integrity. Like in total love, like Muhammad Ali was in love and integrity when he said,
just
let's
let
go.
me know what day we want to go. I mean, this kid was crazy. He's like, yeah, let's fucking do it. I was like, okay. And it went from just absolute resistance to emotional rapport to, all right, game on, let's do it.
All right, brother. So we'll talk more about that. That's insane and amazing. And let's go tell Tim Ferriss today. So Brad, go talk to Tim Ferriss and say, let's go. And by the way, he knows Jonathan and Diana Cohen. And he was at the weekend.
If it matters, I'd love to get these phone numbers. I still haven't gotten them, and I swear to God, I'll take someone right to the mats.
All right. So
for some reason, Big Sugar has not gotten phone numbers of these influencers, and I dare somebody to give me the numbers.
Well, I don't have any of their. I just call somebody then I call another person until eventually somebody had it, and it just happened to be one of the lions that was moved by the Tony Robbins microphone, and just said, "Call me anytime you ever need anything in life." And I was like, "I need Grant Cardone's cell phone number."
That's amazing. That's totally insane, amazing. So, hey, Rob, have you gotten a list of influencers yet and personal development geniuses? Have you even gotten a list of names yet or no?
I have not.
All right, Tiffany, make sure, please, Rob Gill gets that list, like, in the next 15 minutes after the call, because Rob's all fired up and competitive now, and this is what it looks like. We're supposed to be competitive, right? Like, in a beautiful way. Like, not put anybody down, say, oh, you did that? Let me go do something. I'm going to make something happen. That's what this is. That's what this looks like. So anybody else?
David Meerman would come if it's kind of last second, and kudos to Scott because he was working hard on this too. I just had reached out to him like 4 or 5 weeks ago, but we can talk after the call about how to make that happen. It's kind of he just kept saying no, and I just kept coming up with like 15 different ideas, and he finally said yes to one idea.
All right, well, let's do it, brother. We'll talk after the call. So let's get
Rob.
Let
me just jump in for some final because I have to go to a sales call. But I just realized one more thing. So just a couple of final. There's not going to be any Wednesday night trainings anymore. We have some new stuff. We'll be announcing it at the event. So just take that out of your schedule for right now, and use that time wisely to take what you're learning from these huddles and then just dig deeper and reflect and write and get out there and execute. So there's no longer the Wednesday night call. So there's no Wednesday night call tonight. One other thing, because this question has come in a ton, we expect that the room will be pretty cold. So just bring layers. so that you can feel comfortable in the room. But our energy of being together will keep us warm, but definitely bring layers when you're sitting in the room. And look for an email from Sean within the next hour or two, just with final details and a link to the survey where you can fill out a form to be considered for one of those interventions with Sean and Jay Abraham. That will be in the email that we send out. We'll also post it in the Facebook group as well. So I'm going to bounce. I have a call that's coming in right now. Everybody, can't wait to see you soon. Bye, everybody.
All right. Thanks, Jared. Hey, it's Why Wednesday. Let's go get it. Have a beautiful and incredible day and make something happen in the formula. Keep expanding. Keep getting your team, your ecosystem ready to go coming to this event, and let's make stuff happen. Thanks.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, everybody.
Have an amazing day, everybody.
Yo, everybody, I'll see you in New Jersey. This is what it looks like. Thanks, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Yeah.
Have a great day.